comes from, the ideas and everything. How many of you are first quarter? First off, I want to know who I'm talking to. A whole heck of a lot.
Welcome.
Awesome. Wow. So you guys have had, you started chiropractic history class, is that correct? Absolutely. Today's the first one, philosophy 1? You have that? Yes. Today's the first day? Yeah. Oh, shoot. Okay. Okay. Wow. So you're going to hear a lot about some names. For those of you who aren't first quarter, give me a second. I'm going to be talking mostly to first quarter students for a moment. A lot of you know this history already, but you're going to hear the name B.J. Palmer obviously a lot. If you came to any of the weekends here, the Champions Weekends, you probably heard his name. He's the developer of chiropractic. D.D. Palmer, his father, was the founder. D.D. Palmer really kind of fell onto chiropractic and then started discovering and developing systems in which he could more consistently and more reproducibly do the same thing to people and get beneficial results to their health. B.J. Palmer took his father's ideas and continued to develop it, and B.J. Palmer was a really analytical person. You guys know the green books in the bookstore? You've at least been exposed to the idea of them. B.J. Palmer, along with a couple of his colleagues, wrote 39 green books. I always get mixed up, 37, 39. 39 green books. Most of them are in print. And those 39 green books talks about the philosophy, the art, and the science of chiropractic. And when we talk about that, the philosophy of chiropractic is really just how do things work? What is the absolute truth? Whether we understand it or not, where are the absolutes? The science of it is deducing how do the absolutes of truth actually be manifested in a physical world, and how does that correlate with the things we see and the things we can do? And the science, or the art of it is how do we actually deliver chiropractic care? What can we actually do to someone or for someone or help someone or intervene in some way with whatever is going on in their body, try to remove the interference so that health can express itself. And so in chiropractic, it's really, you yourself are always healthy all the time. The internal part of you is always trying to express health, but the only thing that can really make disease manifest is an interference with the normal expression of health. So it's not that you caught a disease, it's more that health is not being expressed from the inside out. And this whole concept really, it drove B.J. Palmer to ask more and more and more questions. And he started doing chiropractic care. He was trying to find systems and patterns in the body. He came up with what's called the Merrick system. It's just one of them. You're going to hear a more detailed history. But he worked with the Merrick system, which was seeing, hey, if you have a diseased organ, trace the organ back to the spine, and that spinal level that has a nerve that goes to the organ, that's the one that should be the problem. And so if someone came in with kidney disease, they go, hey, adjust that person in the kidney place, or adjust that person in the heart place if they had heart disease. And they have these systems of correlation, and they would just follow them. But he kept asking questions. He said, if someone has kidney disease, once in a while they'll get well when we adjust them in the kidney place, but not always. It's not consistent enough. And he was anal enough that he just said, it's not good enough. Let's keep going. Kept asking questions. And so it really drove him to see, is there a higher pattern, a more superior pattern, a place where there's interference causing system-wide interference, and it's only expressed in certain places. And so he kept asking questions, and it finally led him to the upper cervical subluxation complex. And instead of just assuming that it was the answer, he decided to go into research. And at first he took 5,000 cases and only put them under upper cervical care. Didn't matter what the case was. It was heart disease, liver disease, cancers, tuberculosis, not sleeping well, pain in the back, pain in the foot, pain in the butt. Doesn't really matter. All those things, he just said, we welcome it all. We're going to put them under upper cervical care and see what the consistent results were. And so they had ways of analyzing how well the nerves were actually functioning from the place where it exited the spinal cord to the diseased organ. So whatever the disease was, they would track it back along the nerve, track the nerve up to the brainstem, and the brainstem to certain areas of the skull, and they would measure the neurology at each one of those places. And they found out that when they would address the upper cervical subluxation complex and adjust there and there only, that it would actually restore the normal nerve flow in all of the areas that they were measuring more consistently than if they went to the area of the spine where the nerve came out to the organ that was diseased. So when they did this, it made them realize, hey, there's something more superior. there's like one key. Instead of it being a system of keys or a series of keys, there's one that has an overarching impact on the whole human frame, the whole human body, and the expression of health from the inside out. And so he just kept asking questions. He didn't even stop at 5,000 cases. He goes, well, because it works, let's go into research. And he opened the B.J. Palmer clinic, and he did research there for, I think it was 10 years straight. They were doing focused research on upper cervical alone. And he published this work in multiple books, but B.J. Palmer really laid a foundation for us, a groundwork for us to see, hey, the human frame, the human body is meant to express health, and there's all sorts of ways you can evaluate interference, but if you really want to make the whole, a global impact on their health, remove interference at its source, at its most superior source. And he found that that came to the upper cervical subluxation complex every single time, so consistently that he wrote a book, the subluxation specific, the adjustment specific, and in it he says, I'm paraphrasing, but he admits, I was the one who taught you all to adjust the entire spine, to evaluate it, to follow these systems. I taught you, and now I'm saying I was wrong. I'm telling you now I found the right way. And I urge you all to follow me in this endeavor to actually go towards upper cervical chiropractic care. And he doesn't use the terms at the time, but he was just addressing them, saying, this is the focus. I've done enough work to know this works. And so now we have, I honestly don't know how many upper cervical techniques. There's some major ones. We have advanced orthogonal, we have NUCA, we have orthospinalogy, we have Blair, we have toggle, we have knee chest, and a multitude of other ones. QSM is an emerging one, and there's some I don't know the names of, but these are all based on that foundational principle that there is one key that really affects the whole global expression of health within someone. And so we, with the Upper Cervical Club, are really trying to support that work here on campus. We're trying to establish a greater framework for you guys, trying to get more classes, more electives, more training, both in the classroom and just in the club, just opportunities around to actually put some time into learning x-ray, learning how to adjust, learn how to evaluate someone for an upper cervical subluxation. And we want to make sure you guys have the opportunity to train well and to come out as a really, really, really excellent doctor by the time you graduate. Because, you know, I came in and I didn't have this kind of opportunity. We had something going. The Upper Cervical Club actually didn't even start till I was a year into school. So we had almost nothing. There was a NUCA club, supported one of the techniques, but we're trying to lay a foundation for you guys. And one of the other things we're going to do is we're going to invite doctors that are working in the field, that have better insight than even I do, definitely better insight than I do, into all these various aspects of upper cervical chiropractic, both in the individual techniques and just the overarching philosophical principles behind the work we do. And so I know this is a little bit overwhelming, but I want you guys to understand that there is a bit of history behind upper cervical work.